The year 1948 marked a turning point in Palestinian history. It witnessed the creation of the State of Israel. This event led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their homes. This event, known as the Nakba, or catastrophe in Arabic, continues to shape the Palestinian narrative. Palestinians were expelled from their villages and towns. They were forced to flee, seeking refuge in neighboring countries. The Nakba created a deep wound, a wound that continues to bleed even today. The Nakba was not just a historical event. It marked the beginning of a decades-long struggle for Palestinians. It was the start of a fight for recognition, for return, and for self-determination. The Nakba is not just a memory. It is a living reality for millions of Palestinians around the world. They live with the legacy of displacement and dispossession. The international community struggled to respond to the humanitarian crisis. The newly formed United Nations stepped in. It attempted to mediate the conflict and provide aid to the refugees. However, a lasting solution remained elusive. The Nakba created a complex geopolitical problem. It continues to challenge the international community to this day. The decades following the Nakba were marked by conflict and instability. The Six-Day War in 1967 resulted in Israel's occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. This further exacerbated the Palestinian plight. Palestinians found themselves living under military rule. Their movements were restricted, and their daily lives were subject to constant surveillance. The occupation brought about new hardships, deepening the sense of displacement and despair. The First Intifada, which began in 1987, was a testament to the Palestinian spirit of resistance. This popular uprising against the occupation was met with force. Despite the violence, the Intifada showcased the Palestinian yearning for freedom and self-determination. It also brought the Palestinian issue back to the forefront of global consciousness. The Oslo Accords, signed in the 1990s, offered a glimmer of hope for a peaceful resolution. The agreements aimed to establish a framework for a two-state solution. However, the peace process faltered. It faltered amidst continued settlement expansion in the West Bank and a resurgence of violence. The Second Intifada, which erupted in 2000, further diminished hopes for peace. It led to a devastating cycle of violence and counter-violence. The construction of the separation barrier by Israel, while intended to provide security, further restricted Palestinian movement and fragmented their land. The Gaza Strip, a densely populated coastal enclave, has borne a disproportionate brunt of the conflict. Subjected to repeated military operations and a crippling blockade, Gaza has been plunged into a humanitarian crisis. The healthcare system is on the verge of collapse. The economy is in ruins. The people of Gaza live with constant fear of violence and deprivation. The international community has responded with aid and condemnation, yet the underlying issues remain unresolved. The blockade continues to strangle Gaza. The cycle of violence continues to trap its people. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza stands as a stark reminder of the human cost of this protracted conflict. The situation in the West Bank is no less dire. The expansion of Israeli settlements continues, encroaching upon Palestinian land and resources. The presence of checkpoints and the separation barrier restricts Palestinian movement, hindering economic development and access to essential services. The daily lives of Palestinians in the West Bank are marked by uncertainty, frustration, and a constant struggle for dignity. The international community has repeatedly called for a just and lasting solution. However, the path to peace remains elusive. The two-state solution, once seen as the most viable option, is fading. This is due to the lack of political will and the realities on the ground. Despite the hardships they face, the Palestinian spirit remains unbroken. Palestinians continue to resist the occupation through peaceful protests, cultural expression, and legal challenges. They cling to the hope of a better future for their children, a future where they can live in freedom and dignity. The international community must not turn a blind eye to the Palestinian plight. It is imperative to amplify Palestinian voices and support their right to self-determination. A just and lasting peace can only be achieved through dialogue, understanding, and a commitment to upholding the rights of all. The Palestinian journey has been long and arduous, but their spirit of resilience and their unwavering hope serve as an inspiration to us all.